Hello, everybody. So my name is Cara Kidu, and I am from the island of Trinidad and Tobago. In 2003, I got a full scholarship to attend Benedict College, which is an HBCU in Columbia, South Carolina. My major was social work, and I graduated in 3 years with a 4.0 GPA. That allowed me to also get a full scholarship to go to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. One of the ways in which one of the things that actually helped me to get situated for a scholarship was doing internships throughout my time when I was in college. So every summer, and this is going to be my advice for you guys, when you are in college, don't spend your summers working at Wendy's or at the mall or doing those things, which can give you like just quick money. But really consider that doing an internship over the summer is going to boost your resume, and it's going to actually make you look more, set you up for success when it's time to get a job, or whether you want to apply to grad school or business school or law school or any school, any other higher level school that you want to go to. So one of the things that I knew getting my undergrad for social work is that I knew that unless I wanted to maintain an entry level position, I had to get my master's. So I already knew going in that if I chose social work as my major, that getting my master's is a given. So what I did was, over each summer, I had 3 summers where I spent each of those summers working in an internship that was applicable to the field of social work. So one of my very first internships that I remember that was really fun was working for a union. And that was really cool because we got to learn how to organize, do community organizing. We did a protest in the Baltimore State House. And so that was pretty cool to be a part of and to help mobilize the community that we were working with to lead that protest. And that was just something that I actually liked and enjoyed, was organizing. I even did that within my while I was at Benedict. I helped organize and participate in a protest. So that's one of the interesting things that you may not know about social work, is that community organizing falls under the umbrella of social work. One of the things that I love about social work is that the definition of social work in terms of where you can work and the types of population that you can work with, the types of settings that you can work with, it is as broad as it is wide. So most of the times when people think of social workers, they think of the social workers who work for DSS, Department of Social Services, the social workers who work to take kids out of homes or put kids into foster care. That tends to be what people think of when they think of social work. However, the field of social work is really, really broad, and it can encompass working with individuals. It can encompass working with groups or communities or with organizations. So in my first job, after I graduated from my undergrad, I worked with Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Triangle. And if you don't know, Big Brothers Big Sisters is a nonprofit organization that pairs at-risk kids in the community with a mentor, with an adult mentor. And my first job was to support those, what we call matches, those relationships. My first job was to be in touch with the parent, the child, and the volunteer to see how the match was going, if there were any problems, to help problem solve. And that was my very first entry-level job within the field of social work. Then after about a couple of years, I got promoted to lead match support specialist. So I was helping to lead the team of match support specialists who were also supporting these matches. So it was more of a leadership position in conjunction with the work that I was also doing to help support the relationships. Then a couple of years after that, I got promoted to director of quality control. And in that position, I was no longer directly working with clients on a what we call macro level. So macro social work is when you work one-on-one with clients, or you're you're on the ground, right? You're the one that's in touch, hands-on, very much with the clients. By the time you get to what I call macro social work, which is more on an organizational level, a more leadership level, you are not necessarily in direct touch with individual clients. You are now taking a more organizational leadership role. You're working behind the scenes. These are people who may be grant writers, fundraisers. They may be people who are more in an advocacy position. And so my position as director of quality control was I had to look at the organization as a whole and identify areas that we needed to grow in to improve our quality performance, as well as look at the individual departments, whether it was match support, whether it was enrollment, different things like that, and look to see how we can improve and enhance the quality of work that our employees were putting out. So that was my position. I worked in Big Brothers Big Sisters for a total of 7 years. While I was working at Big Brothers Big Sisters, I did my master's. The one fun fact about social work is that when you complete your undergrad in social work, your master's is only 1 year. Most master's degrees are 2 years full-time. Mine was 1 year full-time. And so that was because whenever somebody has an undergraduate degree in social work, we have what we call an advanced standing program that allows those who have completed their undergrad to do their master's in 1 year. So it knocks off a year. I was able to get a scholarship as well to do my master's in social work. At the time, the concentration that I chose was management and community practice, which is more of the leadership type of social work. Again, I was not interested at the time in working with direct clients. So the type of social work that I chose allowed me to work in a more organizational leadership setting. So again, those are the people behind the scene, mid-management, upper management positions. That's what I wanted to position myself for. So one of the things that I enjoyed about working with Big Brothers Big Sisters was just the opportunity for me to grow within the organization, learn what I liked and learn what I didn't like. So initially, I thought that I would have liked to become a CEO. And then when I realized what it takes to be a CEO and the job of a CEO and how much networking is involved, how much smooching is involved, grant writing, a lot of things, I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to be a CEO. I don't think that's what I want to do. So after 7 years of working with Big Brothers Big Sisters, we moved, my family, we moved to Florida. And so during that time, I had a 3-year hiatus from work. I then, when I wanted to relaunch my career, decided that I actually wanted to work in an entirely different setting than I was initially trained for in my graduate career. Now, again, one of the cool things about social work is that the way in which our degree works is that it sets you up to work in any position and in any type of social work setting. So when you get your undergraduate degree in social work, you can work for Department of Social Services, you can work for policy organizations that help people who help to write policies, you can work for senators and politicians, you can work in a whole nonprofit settings. There's a whole lot of different settings. You can work with the elderly, you can work with families and everything in between. So that's one of the things that attracted me to social work, was because the degree itself was extremely flexible in terms of the different types of settings that you can work with. So by the time I took my 3-year hiatus from working, I decided that I wanted to work in direct practice meaning working one-on-one, one-to-one with clients, going back to the ground floor. Now, the setting that I wanted to work in was a counseling setting. So I wanted to be able to provide therapy services. And I had never done that in my entire social work career, from undergrad, grad school, the 7 years that I worked in Big Brothers Big Sisters. I had never provided therapy and I had never worked with individual clients in that setting. But because I already had a foundation of social work that allowed me the platform to basically work in any setting, I used that to my advantage. And what I did was I just got extra experience, extra trainings in therapy models that I was interested in. So I was interested in working with couples, and I was interested in working with individuals who've experienced trauma. And so I took a lot of trainings to help prepare me to do therapy in the context of working with individuals and couples. So that is an example of how you can switch careers within your career. And because social work is so broad, it really allowed me that opportunity to do that without having to go back to school and get a marriage and family therapy degree or a mental health counseling degree. I was already equipped with social work to be the CEO of a nonprofit or work individually one-on-one with clients. So right now, what I am setting myself up to do is actually to own my own business. And so this is the other cool thing about, in a lot of careers that we're going to choose, you guys are going to more than likely be working for someone. If you are a teacher, you're going to be working for a school. If you are a nurse, you're going to be working for a hospital. If you're a doctor, you're going to be working more than likely for a hospital, right? There's a lot of careers, same thing for social work. There's a lot of careers that we choose where more than likely we are going to be working for someone. So one of the things that we didn't learn in when I was growing up and even throughout my undergrad and graduate career was the idea of working for yourself. And so right now I am finding myself in a position where I can be my own boss as a therapist. And that means that I'm going to set up a private practice. And so a private practice, a solo practice, is where a therapist, a doctor, for example, people can set up their own business, set their own hours, determine the types of clients that I want to work with and work with them. And so by being my own boss, I get to set my own schedule. I get to choose the types of people that I want to work with. I don't just have to accept everybody. If you're working in an organizational setting, chances are you don't get to choose your clients. The clients are given to you. In a private practice setting, I get to choose my own clients. I get to say, these are my experts. This is the area of my expertise. I work with individuals. I work with couples. I don't work with kids. You get to be able to say that. And you get to be the one that sets the rules for your organization. You get to set the mission, the vision, how you want things to work within your own organization. And so my husband and I, we created a ministry called Authentic Marriages. And through Authentic Marriages, I am going to be able to provide therapy services to couples as well as to individuals. And so I'm really looking forward to that, to the launch of that next year. Some of the challenges that I would say, now every job has its challenges. So bear that in mind. Even when you're working for yourself, there is going to be a lot of challenges. So working for yourself does not preclude you from experiencing challenges. One such challenge is writing notes. After every client I see, I have to write notes. And if you don't write your notes in a timely fashion, they will pile up. Another challenge is marketing. Every business needs marketing. And because my major was social work and not marketing, marketing for me is just a natural challenge. Technology is a natural challenge for me. Things that are just not in my forte becomes a challenge, but it's a necessary part of the job. So within owning your own business, you have to then hire out. You have to get people to do your accounting, get people to do your marketing. You have to get people to do the things that you are not good at. Otherwise, it will become absolutely overwhelming and your whole organization will crumble. So some of the challenges are working with difficult clients. Like at the end of the day, working with individuals who've experienced trauma or working with couples and relationships is difficult. It is inherently difficult. I sit an hour at a time, most times with people on a weekly basis, and I hear a lot of heavy stuff. I hear a lot of very heavy, very sad stories, and I have to process and I have to create space for other people so that I could be their safe space and hold their emotions. but I am still human. And so I have to also be mindful of my own energy and learn to set boundaries, which can be challenging in the field of social work, because you may end up in a setting where there is more work to do than there is actually time to do those works, to do the work, to do the job. And you have to be able to set boundaries with your employer. You have to be able to set boundaries with yourself. You have to say to yourself, I'm not going to answer emails 24/7. I'm not going to be on call and answer the phone 24/7. Different things like that. You have to set boundaries within yourself. Otherwise, your stress levels will be monumentous. So if you are considering a career in social work, my suggestion to you would be to research. First stop is research. Talk to people who are in the social work field. Consider the salaries, the average salaries of social workers, and consider the hours that they work and the lifestyle that you want to have. So one of the things that is leading me to private practice, meaning owning my own business and being the boss of my own business, I now have to take on extra administrative responsibilities that I would not have to deal with if I were working for someone. Because if I were working for someone, they take care of the website, the marketing, the taxes, all the behind the scenes stuff that goes into building a business. Now, as a practice owner, I now have to take on that responsibility, and I am now the one responsible for everything. And so that is everything plus the job that you're already doing, which is the therapy. So there is a lot of administrative pieces, some of which I don't like, as I mentioned, the technology pieces, the marketing pieces. I don't like those things. So I contract those things out to other people to do them for me. But the biggest draw to owning your own business is considering the lifestyle that you want, being in a place where I get to set my own hours. Right now, I work 4 days a week between the hours of 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday to Friday, generally. Sometimes I work a little bit more, sometimes I work a little bit less. I get to say how many breaks I take. I get to say how many holidays I want to take. But that also correlates to how much money you want to make. So the more breaks you take, the less money you make. And so considering what type of lifestyle you want to have, as well as what type of lifestyle the career that you want affords to you. For example, my husband is a doctor, and there are many doctors who work 80 plus hours a week. That is not a lifestyle that we necessarily want to have. And so taking into consideration the careers within your career. So whether it is you want to go to medicine, think about all the types of medical doctors that there are. If you want to do law, all the types of lawyers that exist. If you want to do social work, all the types of social work careers that exist under the banner of social work. Those are the things that are going to give you an idea of what is possible, right? And what more aligns with the type of lifestyle that you want to have. And if you want to be in a career where you are not working 100 hours a week versus being in a career where you're working 40, 50 hours a week, right? So, or less, like myself. So, those are the things that I would tell you to think about. One of the things with where I am right now and how I am practicing, I am 100% virtual. So my career tool is Zoom. I do my therapies online. I meet with my couples online. I even do EMDR, which is a type of therapy for people who've experienced trauma. I do that online. So the virtual world has truly opened up our eyes and our abilities to do the work that we would have typically done in person online. So even consider that, like, what type of setting do you want to be in? Do you want to be in a setting where you are working remotely? Do you want to be in a setting where you are liaising with people? Because it can become very isolating if you are in a setting where you're not only remote, but you're also by yourself. So that is also something to think about, is that the type of settings that you want to work in, your personality, and what type of careers jive with your personality. So I hope you guys found this helpful. It was really great speaking to all my middle school friends. And if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Bye.